Somewhere right now, someone is taking a photo just to prove they were there. A selfie at a landmark, a check-in, a small digital marker saying, "This moment happened, and I existed inside it." That instinct isn't new. It's tens of thousands of years old. And the earliest known version of it isn't a photograph. It's a handprint pressed onto stone deep inside a cave by someone who never once imagined you would ever see it. So why would early humans, crawling deep into total darkness, stop to leave the mark of their own hand on a wall? These aren't rare. Hand stencils have been found in caves across Europe, Indonesia, and South America, made using a strikingly consistent method. A hand pressed flat against the rock, and pigment, usually ground ochre, blown through a hollow bone or reed directly around it, leaving a ghostly negative outline behind. For decades, the assumption was simple. These were signatures left by male hunters, marking territory or ritual significance before a hunt. It seemed obvious. It also turned out to be almost entirely unproven. An archaeologist named Dean Snow decided to actually test that assumption. Snow analyzed the proportions of hundreds of ancient hand stencils using the same measurement techniques modern forensic scientists use to determine sex from hand bone ratios, comparing the relative length of the index and ring fingers. His findings, published after years of painstaking measurement, overturned the old assumption completely. The majority of the hand stencils Snow analyzed weren't made by men at all. They were made by women. This one discovery quietly rewrote a huge portion of assumed prehistoric gender roles. The people leaving these marks in the deepest, darkest chambers of ancient caves weren't necessarily hunters heading out to track prey. They may have been an entire cross-section of a community, women and likely children alongside them, deliberately venturing into total darkness together. But why go into a cave at all, past the point where any daylight reaches? Some of the answer comes from geochemist Maxime Aubert, who developed a dating technique using uranium decay, trapped in the mineral crusts that slowly form over cave paintings. Aubert used this method on hand stencils found in Sulawesi, Indonesia, and the results stunned the archaeological world. Some of these hand stencils were older than anything previously found in Europe, pushing the earliest known evidence of this exact ritual back further than anyone expected, and proving it wasn't a single European invention at all. It emerged independently or spread far earlier than believed, across completely different corners of the ancient world. A third researcher, French prehistorian Jean Clottes, who spent years studying the deep chambers of Chauvet Cave in France, proposed a theory for why these locations mattered so specifically. Clottes argued that the deepest, most difficult-to-reach chambers weren't chosen randomly. They were likely considered a kind of membrane, a thin boundary between the world of the living and something beyond it. Placing a hand directly onto that boundary wasn't decoration. It may have been closer to a form of ancient contact, reaching toward whatever early humans believed existed on the other side of solid rock, which reframes what these images actually are. Not simple decoration, not idle marks. A person in complete darkness, reaching out and pressing their own hand against the edge of the unknown, and choosing deliberately to leave proof they had been there. This still lives in you, almost unchanged. The impulse to carve initials into a tree, to sign a guest book, to post a photo online just to say, "I was here, this happened, I existed in this exact moment." You'll likely never crawl through a pitch-black cave to press pigment around your own hand. But the instinct driving that ancient gesture and the instinct behind your last photo are, underneath everything, the exact same one. Someone, tens of thousands of years ago, reached out into the dark and asked to be remembered. You're still doing it. You just don't call it a handprint anymore.